That heifer right there just don't even care.
Straighten yourself out.
Action.
Hey,
What do you say, folks? Hope everybody having a fine evening. Todd was trying to determine if I've had quesadillas or not, and I was reading off your sweet potato.
that sounded really good. Sweet potato and pepper quesadilla.
Mm-hmm. Thinking, I don't know if I do not recall having one, but she says I have.
Not a sweet potato. We've had like traditional quesadillas, I guess.
I've had a bunch of sweet potatoes. I know that. Especially Chilton City, Mississippi sweet potato. That,
So
people, y'all want sweet potato, that's the one to do.
he said yesterday at lunch I crunched up ramen to mimic Tim and Hannah's small Hive Beetle problem and pretended I was a chicken eating grubs. Hey, them chickens have a heyday with that crap. I can't watch it. My stomach's strong, but I can't handle that.
What we will get into that's going to be subject at hand tonight if we make it that far. But our third year beekeeping, we had gained chickens again, and naturally, this before we figured out anything with peppermint and stuff like that. But man, it was just the beetles was killing us with colonies. Just every single day, it seemed like we come home and colonies were gone. We went from what 18 to 2 or 3 colonies that year because of beetles. But them chickens figured out pretty much when we had a slime out.
Mm-hmm.
We wouldn't have to call them down there, no, nothing like that.
I think they can smell it.
They may have been able to. You're right, because it does kind of put off an odor.
There's a distinct odor with it.
But no lie, when them chickens seen us getting into the bees, they would think, okay, we're fixing to get fed because they're going to set frames down and we're going to get all the protein we can get for the day. But that's pretty funny, bro. There's something about Mr. Randy from Tar Heel had made in the comments. Pretty sure it was him about pretty well looks like y'all raising them things down there. I was like, well, yes, sir. Just about. We may as well. Or he may say something about research. I don't know. There's so many comments on that. But many of them got a good laugh out of it. But
Sorry, I'm trying to keep up. I'm starting to move on now.
everybody moseying on in.
Miss Leona just dropped in.
Well, good evening there.
Pastor Larry and Miss Jane.
How y'all are up there in the North Country?
Oh, sounds like you got hooked up, Mr. Knight.
You're going to have to read them off to me. I can't see that far.
He said, where is that? A friend gave me 6 game hens today. I see eggs in my future.
Yes, sir. There you go. Our hens they've been doing good on the laying. We got 2 on the cluster now. And this may sound kind of disgusting to some folks, but with my tobacco habit and that dipping, I keep me a bottle. I'm not going to get into detail, but I keep me a bottle right beside or on my little table right here. Whenever it gets to limit, instead of putting it in the garbage, inside, I got me a little burn pile spot outside, and I'll just chuck that bottle out there. And most of the time, I can hit it from the porch.
Within 10 feet of it.
Most times. That's all the time. But today went out there, and the one that she was just talking about 10 feet away, I was cutting up what little bit of grass we got here in the yard, and I just took that bottle and chunked it on my little burn pile. And undoubtedly, one of them other hens has made her little spot in them limbs and jumped on the burn pile.
Crazy.
Yeah, so we got 3 hens laying, and 2 of them that refuses to, and we're okay with that.
Mhm.
Because it ain't gonna be long if we're gonna be overrun with little bitties again.
We don't. Hannah doesn't. Want-
She's over the chickens.
I'm over losing the chickens. I'm tired of getting attached to them, and a fox or a coon gets them and breaks my heart. I'm just done.
Yeah, it's a bum, but they gotta eat too. I'm not raising them for the wildlife by no means, but
No,
it
but they
happens.
always get my favorite one. Whichever one I get attached to out of a clutch that hatches, that's going to be the first one to get got.
But hopefully that goes good for you, Mr. Mike. And you don't get overrun, because I know there's some of y'all in here, especially got your little yard chickens. Buddy, when them hens start going, you know, in a week you'll have plenty enough for yourself.
Mm-hmm.
Then it'll get to the point to where, oh, so and so, I'll buy a couple dozen from you. Then before long, you get overrun with eggs, and it gets to the point where you pretty well just can't give the things away.
Yeah, because it's I guess just part of being in the South. Like everybody has chickens. Everybody just about has chickens.
If not, they ain't hard to find. Well, somebody's got some chicken eggs. But what else we've been doing?
Work.
Yes, where we at Monday and Tuesday, we was up in the other county, right?
Mm-hmm.
All right, got to share something with y'all.
Yeah, Lee, that's a lot of chickens, Lee. Yeah, 72 chickens.
No
All
rooster.
hens.
Mm-hmm.
Chickens are a gateway drug.
They can be. I mean, I'd love to have some more guineas, but she is not having that. She, nope.
Not under any circumstances, conditions, loopholes. There ain't another guinea coming on this hill. I submit to my husband in every other way that there is not going to be another guinea come on this hill at all. I can't do it.
No, that guinea come real close the other day to seeing the pearly gates, if you will. Because she told me, she said, I'm fixing to go in there and get that 12-gauge lead dispenser and end this around
You
here.
can do something with that bird, or you can go tell it goodbye because I'm done. That thing's a butthead. It's defective. It's obnoxious. No,
It's everything you want in a guinea.
not anymore.
But yes, the next one I'd like to have, though, the next fowl roll. I'd love to get some peacocks and peahens. I'd love to have a couple of those around here.
I wouldn't mind that. There's no more guineas.
You think that guinea's loud? Wait till that old peacock goes carrying on. You hear that joker pronounce.
Yeah, Matt had a question.
What you got?
He said I have to move a hive in a couple nights. It's a double nuke. Will they be okay closed up for about an hour? 75 to 80 degree day. I mean, I would think they would be fine for that long. As long as they've got some kind of ventilation hole and they're not like sitting in direct sunlight.
Yeah,
I would think just for that long, they'd be okay.
that's what I'm saying. You give them just a little bit of insulation. You're moving them down the highway. Because if you're doing that, if it's a 30, 45-minute hour ride going down the highway.
That's going to be plenty of ventilation.
Yep, well, let me put it like this.
Be careful.
Well, if you're going a country highway, you're not at red lights and stop signs every time you turn around. If you can pretty well just
Go.
keep trucking, I think you'll be all right. If not, I'd maybe rig me up some kind of little contraption to at least put down there at the entrance. Get you some wire and a stapler.
That's what
Some
Mr.
8-inch wire.
Dan just said. If you have any window screen, even to
Bingo.
staple over the entrance. That way they can't get out, but it'll give them some kind of airflow.
That's what we did just the other night. And that video should be out. It'll be the unofficial, official, quickest honeybee removal.
You put it out?
No, not yet. I still got to go do one. Well, there's a little bit I got to finish up with, but it's every bit of a 7-minute video.
Oh yeah, Matt. Especially if you just staple the screen or some kind of wire over it, I would think that would be fine for that.
Yeah, shoot, yeah. Put
Yeah,
some
he
strain
said
on it, baby.
moving about 45-minute ride down the highway.
Oh, yeah, that'd be just fine. If anything, let them girl, well, you got your screen over it. Fix say when you get home, make sure you let them girls sit for a little bit before you go out there and pop that screen on. Usually when we've done that, we'll put a piece of screen or something other on there. And really, whenever we get them down to where we're going to put them, about 15, 20 minutes later, I usually go out there and just pull it off, especially at nighttime. And I wouldn't say we've ever really had an issue with them coming out and jumping on us, but at least let them sit for a little bit before you take it off there. What you got? My husband good. What's the rumors doing? Hollered everybody right fast.
I missed it. I was reading this text on your phone. You're right. I missed him. Okay.
Yeah.
I think I got it.
Oh, there you go, brother. Dump them off and tell them, so y'all go out there and pull the screen off in the morning, especially if they're new beekeeper. Let's holler at everybody real fast. Oh, Grayson.
Do hold it.
I mean, he must have heard the alert go off this morning for the live chat, and I had went through to make sure the Bible verse came up and to make sure the live came through on YouTube. And but it wasn't out 2 minutes, and Grayson said first, and that joker, he jumped on that. But let's see, we had Grayson there. Mr. David Lewis was second.
Well, speaking of him being first, there he is, that Grayson. And I would love to know how he has lined out these YouTube notifications. Because he's on it, and we don't get them till 3 days later.
He's in the know.
I guess so. I want to know how you get that. It's been gone too far.
Yeah, if I missed some of y'all, I apologize because I only listened to scroll so far. But Shane, good to see you, brother. Rodney, good to see you. Joey over there in Louisiana. Yep. Let's see here. Lee, Brian, and Jen. Randy, good to see you, brother. Carl there. Mike Tangway, Grammy, good to see you. Matt, once again, Russell Cookman. Keeps filming up there in them half tracks.
I feel you on the hot and muggy.
Oh, it was that today for sure. Mr. David Lewis, good to see you back in here.
Sarah was in there somewhere. She said she made a mess. She left her honey gate open. So she was gonna be cleaning while she listening while she cleaned up her mess.
Right.
Um,
Let's see. Catherine, Mr. Mark Miller, good to see you, bro. I see one of the Russells, but okay. Mr. Russell Goodman. I see. Who else? Philip, good to see you, bro. Just got the text message.
yeah. All right.
DC.
My DC came in.
Mm-hmm. Who else in here? Looks like I about got everybody for the moment. But appreciate everybody being here. So I hope y'all have a blessed week and a good start to the new week, being today. But before we get into anything, y'all know I'm gonna drag this out 30, 45 minutes anyway. But we're gonna have church for a second.
Oh, we can do that.
All right. Because I gotta get something off my chest. And anybody knows about this because if y'all had we both had the moment at the same time whenever this came through. But I'll make my long story short if I can. Yeah. All right. We have been slammed with things in our life, and some of it that we cannot help, and we're not going to turn down what we have to do in order to make sure families taken care of and things like that. So excluding that portion of life we've been dealing with the last 6 weeks, the word had kind of gotten passed to us that the torch is being passed, if you will, to myself and Hannah, talking to one of the deacons in our church. And these gentlemen that are deacons in the church, they are well into their golden years. They've been blessed with wonderful, wonderful lives and fine, fine men in the community. But the deacon had a talk with me pretty much the other day and said, look, you're the boss now when it comes to doing things for the widow women and doing things. Yeah, and doing whatever needs to be taken care of at the church. And it was humbling. It's worrisome at the same time in my own way of filling those shoes because I know it's going to be some difficult shoes to fill. But with all that being said, we've been dealing with a situation to where these men were put into a situation of helping somebody. And I wasn't at all happy with it. But the only reason in my thinking and mindset last week, the only reason I'm going to go do this project for this person is because there's 70-year-old men out here in the blazing heat. Well, 80-year-old men out here in the blazing heat. And I'm not fixing to leave these men out here to work by themselves just because I disagree with what the situation is for the person we're helping. I fussed to Hannah all week long. She talked to me about it. The next day I fussed about it. I said, we're going to go help, but I'm not happy about going to help. And being the loving wife that she is, she kept me at bay. And we went and done the project, got it done and over with. And 2 days after we finished that project, we was headed to actual work. And we was driving past our church about 7 o'clock that morning. And we boogieing along and we just yakking about whatever. And all of a sudden, as we're approaching the church, Hannah says, "Do you see what the sign says?" About that time, we had passed it. And I said, "No." And she read it off to me. And I just looked at her and I was like, well, boy, if that ain't a slap in the face right there. But what the Bible verse say?
It said, "But brethren, be ye not weary in well doing." Like, I hear you, Lord.
You spoke to
I
me
hear you.
in big bold letters going down the highway.
Literally, big, bold, black and white letters in my face.
Yep.
Like, just shut up and do what I'm putting before you to do.
That's what I told her. I said, the Lord just slapped me. I mean, that was my words before anything else was said. The Lord just slapped me in the face. But he humbled me.
Very much.
And it was one of those moments I was thinking about myself and how I felt versus what I really should have been doing, especially as being a laborer for Christ. And I had to sit back and reevaluate myself on that end. And told Hannah, I said, well, it don't get any more plain than that right there. But what got me to thinking about it was, what if Christ felt that way towards the way I act? I'm not going to help him anymore because he got himself into this. Or I don't want to help because he got himself into this. That was a bad feeling I had amongst myself. Of, you know, Christ didn't look at me that way on Calvary. And shame on me for thinking that way, especially immediately after all that moment and everything, or after that job was said and done, is whenever the deacon had to talk with me. And I told myself, well, time to turn the page, I reckon, on some things.
You see, that's it, DC. And that's a really humbling thought when you stop and think about it. He said we're supposed to be God's walking, talking blessings to the world. He calls us to even bless our enemies. But I feel like, just for me, in my mind, that kind of goes along with the same reasons that the Lord allows some people to deal with sickness, physical disabilities, chronic illnesses. But the Bible's very clear on why the Lord places those burdens on us as individuals, so that the glory of God can be made manifest, so people can see God through the individuals He's using as vessels. But it really made us stop and check our grumbling attitude about doing something we really didn't want to do, but it was something we needed to do. So,
Well, DC, I appreciate that, brother, on not shame. And, God doesn't shame and he does correct us. But just me and myself, it was one of them. I just felt like, I hung my head thinking that's what got me leading into what if Christ would just say, hey, Yeah, he won't straighten up. I'm just not going to help him until he straightens up, kind of thing. Because that was some of my language conversation with Hannah. I said, you know, if this person hadn't put themselves in this position, they wouldn't be here. And don't get me wrong, if the widow women call, or if there's somebody in the community that calls that we know honestly can't afford things and need true help, then you know I'm 100% there, just like always. But this person put themselves in this position. That's why I'm not happy about it. But seeing that sign once again is what was just humbled me, broke me down, so I could rebuild myself. I guess that's what I had to do. A retrain thought, yeah, instead of not derailing
Taking the roundabout.
the roundabout. There we go. But I don't know, just had to share that. I don't know.
Well, the
But-
Philip said there's no revelation without turning. It is as it should be.
Yes.
Like a hard learned lesson.
Mm-hmm.
That's pretty. That's
But on the other note, like I said, it was an honor having them men approach me and feel comfortable, I guess, passing the reins, I reckon. But just pray for us that the Lord leads us the right way. I know He will lead us in the right way in all the
just
directions,
pray
but
that
just,
we can see which way and be willing to follow
yeah.
where we're supposed to go.
But what else I got? Let me get the notes up here.
Should put your overalls on.
Oh, I forget about my overalls back there. Let me get the notes out.
How many times did you pull that?
I got my notes.
Uh,
Well, I tried going number 9 on the phone, but it's impossible. So it works. All right, let me see if I can read the chicken scratch here. All right, yeah, number 1, got humbled by church sign. That's what I have up here. We'll mosey on into the video we put out today. Our lengthy road trip to the river.
That was,
It was.
it really was. Because I mean, literally, you know, we're all pumped going in, sun shining, especially after the day we had before, and really this whole week. But we were thinking, okay, we can just go down here. The phones don't work. We can just leave the world for a little while. We ain't no more set our chairs down on the beach. And it started thundering.
Literally.
Didn't even kick our flip flops off, kind of thing.
That little piece, that video that we put out, it took us longer to go down that little Pick Trail Road to get to where we was going.
Than we actually spent on the beach.
On the river, yeah. And we had just a split second. Jasper went running down the hill. Stella was a happy dog. Y'all pretty much seen everything we seen the whole time in a 7 minute video there. But I was honestly, the sun was coming through the woods right there just fine and pretty. The saw metal palmetto was just real bright green, the whole everything. And I told Hannah, I said, this is going to be a good little intro right here. And that's when I started putting the phone out the window, doing the little deal, and I was going to edit whatever out. And I honestly forgot I had the charger plugged into the cell phone. And as I'm trying to drive down the trail, the steering wheel grabs the cord, and I'm trying to turn, and it's turning the phone sideways. And I said, you know what? I ain't even going to do it. So, but we made it down there and we got to see it. Come right on back home. Jasper wasn't happy. He was pretty sad about it. Stella
He
definitely
counted all the
was.
way home. Both of them did. All the way home.
What else we got on here?
Mm-hmm.
Our world's quickest removal for gunline bees.
Yeah.
They all about that base, y'all. That's all I can tell you.
God.
All about the base.
Do you see he does like the water, but Stella's kind of a turd. The first little while they're down there, like it's her river and he's not allowed in there.
I ain't never seen a dog act like a kid taking a toy or something like that when it comes at the river. Because she'll like push him away, literally push him away from the water's edge and stuff and nip at him.
Until she gets her fill. She's had her time in there, then she'll share and let him in. So we wasn't down there long enough.
No, we literally like what maybe 30 minutes we was actually out of the truck, went to the beach, turned around and come right back up, and that's whenever y'all see closer to the end of the video there.
We were in
Of
the
it raining.
dining room for 20 minutes.
Yeah.
Okay, he said, hey, I have a question.
Go ahead.
He saw the beetle video. Well, the last one, well, no, we have two now, but the last established colony is fine. But those two and that one horizontal hive were a total loss.
Yeah, they done absconded a couple of days before we had gotten in there.
That's why Hangman was not happy in that video. I was sick, and it was nothing to do with the crap that was in that box. It broke my heart to see my little beehive like that.
Because that was the swarms that moved in on the splits that we had done.
The two split. That was the first two splits we did coming into spring. Then and one more. And then swarms moved in on those two, and they started kicking off. And we thought, which I mean, if we had been able to, we would have had a decent little honey crop off of them.
Yeah.
But it's all gone.
See, and one of the other things that aggravated me with it was, and we'll get in a little more deep because that's going to be the main subject for tonight. I actually found a fairly good website that has, there's one part in there I don't agree with, but before I get too far on that, well, no, there's two that we lost because of the beetles. We was just tinkering around and trying something. All right. There's 3 entrances on that horizontal hive. Between those 2 colonies, we split down the middle that horizontal hive. And they had their main entrance, and for whatever reason, both colonies wanted to come out of the middle entrance. So we'll just like, hey, if y'all can get along, get after it. And they did. I mean, everybody, there was no confusion. There wasn't ever any fighting, anything like that going on with them. And they were doing wonderful. Good colonies, bearding good at night, the whole shooting match. And all of a sudden, all that's done and over with. But once again, we'll dive in a little more of that here shortly. Let's see. Quickest removal, all about the base. Y'all remember that. And when it comes out, you'll go, okay, I get it now. Mm-hmm. Then, yesterday, got a phone call. And this time, 911 called us. They did.
I forgot about that. Okay.
Got a call from a buddy on the fire department. He was amped up. Are you at home? I'm like, yeah, what's going on? And he said, man, I done got into ground hornets, and which that's what a lot of people down here call them old eastern yellow jackets, burrow in the ground. He was cutting grass out behind one of the fire stations. I run over the top of that nest in the ground, and buddy, they come out. He sent me a picture this morning, and I told him, I said, Bubba, it looks like Mike Tyson done jumped on you. His eyes was all swollen. I mean, they put a whooping on him. But he said, is there any way you could come down here with your bee suit and get this lawnmower? It's still running. I left lawnmower and everything. And he said, I need to get somebody to get the lawnmower back in the fire station. I was like, it will be an honor. Yes, sir. I'll be up there shortly. He said, well, I'm going home. You know how to run everything in that station. Shut and lock it up whenever you get the lawnmower in there.
Mhm.
So, got that taken care of. And, old Dale, like I said, he was, but they jumped on him and jumped on him good.
Yeah.
But, that's about the end of my rambling for a moment. One more thing, Columbo. We will try to sit down either this week or the next coming week. But I forgot to mention this on the last live. September, looking around mid-September sometime. Once again, we're going to do the unofficial, official honey tasting. So, ones of you that want to get in, see who gets bragging rights this year. Who got it last year? Mr. Dan Weaver got it last year. Who got it last year?
Blaine.
Was it Blaine? Okay. So once again, the prize is bragging rights for the year. So we're looking to get a post office box instead of having things sent
Yeah.
here.
Maybe there'll be less chance of stuff breaking.
Yes, or getting punched into the mailbox like Sean Powchurch and stuff did.
Yeah.
I mean, that woman, she must have just.
But anyway.
Yeah.
But no, a couple of people have already texted me about it. So we're probably going to do the cutoff date to have your entries in like the end of August, maybe 1st of September, and then do the actual contest like mid to late September. And that should kind of, I hope, give everybody time to kind of get done and slow down and breathe a little bit.
Especially with Blaine, because he got his in on
Like on
the day.
the deadline day. That's why we're gonna give it like a week or two gap between the cutoff date and the actual contest date, just in case, because we don't want to mess anybody up.
So as soon as we get the post office deal set up, we'll let y'all know. And that way we can just put it up here on the screen and y'all can get it off there instead of trying to do the email thing unless y'all just really want to chit chat and talk, which we fine with that too. There's a lot of it we do that with.
Mm-hmm.
And okay, the only other thing I got is what's going to be for the prayer list.
Yeah.
So we're going to do that.
Well, that's what Philip had texted another update.
So, and once it, on the honey tasting, bribes are accepted. It doesn't guarantee you will win. Yeah, I'm going to say that every time. There were some awesome bribes last year.
Yeah.
But it don't guarantee a win.
You ready?
Lee, look. Y'all accepting bribes this year? Absolutely, yes, sir. But okay, I'm done. I'll head up for the prayer list now. Y'all, if there's anybody, we did get 2 text messages today from different folks.
I'm just gonna say that.
And the email we received from a lady here as well. Okay.
Alright. Mr. Mark Miller, Ed and his wife and his dad, the Dirt Rooster's dad, Mr. Pat, Mr. Mr. Miss Deb, the Sun Bunny, praying hard for you, lady. Grammy Lisa got her son and two granddaughters. Bob and his family, Tom's wife and mother-in-law, and then this is one of the updates, but Bob's friend Jason Cooper, he's been on here for a little while. We've been praying for him, but he passed away this morning. Bob texted Tim and told him that, so we're going to change his name to his whole family, because that's never an easy thing to do. Mr. Donnie, Mike Tangway's wife, Miss Cindy, and his whole family, Miss Carla Green, DC's parents, Emma Hoskins, David Hoskins' little granddaughter, baby Luca, and the family that lost their little one, Canada Brad, and Deanna Wheeler is Philip's mentee's best friend, and her son Reed, and then Philip's mentee Rachel Wilson, Rachel's sister Amanda, and her niece Riley. And then, yeah, we've had Philip's mom and his cousin Lorinda on here for a little while. She's been battling cancer, but he just sent a text and said she passed away. So y'all be praying for his family, especially his mom. That lady's been through it. Let's see, Philip's friend BJ and his wife, the Jennifer Brown family, Bobby's Bees and his family, Minnesota Mike, his brother Dave and his cousin Mark, Aaron Frederick, Mr. Larry and Miss Sherry Gandy and Mr. Larry's mama, the Cheryl Faulkner family, Keith Larimore, Hillbilly Earl, the Paris family, Sandy's family member from Icy Mountain Honey, the Montalbano family, Unsong, who is Bruce with his bee's granddaughter, Steve Amos's brother, Danae's grandmother, Spanky, the Heffley Hives, Israel, and all the war and storm victims, Jags Farms wife, Sean Baltursis' wife, Mr. Ron, who is one of Blaine's bee yard owners, PJ Hanley, Stafford Mike, the families of the 4 police officers killed in Charlotte, Shabu, a local teenager in PJ's town, he added, Ricky Rourke from Horizontal Hives, 29 Homesteads, both mine and Tim's families, Bob's son that was in the car wreck. I haven't seen him in here tonight. Alright, Peaceful Mind, and then Lisa added one of her friends, Lime, had an unspoken request, and then all of our government officials in this country.
Minnesota Mike said cousin Mark departed last Sunday.
Oh my word.
Lord, you're calling folks home.
We will sure be praying for y'all's family, Mike. Oh my gosh. That's horrible.
I know it's hard, even as Christians, to comprehend this, but the first time I was able to actually do this gentleman, I looked up to. He was a leader, a gentleman, do anything in the world for folks. And at the same time, the way this man conducted himself, you would never think that he was as of a wealthy man as he was. The man was worth a lot of money, but he never, that I seen in the years that I known the man, never put himself above anybody or anything like that. He started his own grocery store in the late 60s, and it just blew up into a multi-million dollar business for him down here. He had multiple chains of his grocery stores all around, things like that. But where I'm going with that rabbit is we should be celebrating. It don't make it any easier, and I get that because I can say that I've had family that I know are with the Lord, but it didn't make it any easier me missing them. But actually being able to understand the celebration part of it does make it comforting.
I don't know, just Christians can have that peace about it, but it doesn't hurt your heart any less
No.
as a human.
Mm-hmm.
DC said we're good friends with Fred Myers.
No.
No, not that one.
If you're down here, and if you ever went into a Manning's Marketplace, that was his grocery store chain. And
But I mean, they never went nationwide or anything. It's just local around here.
yeah, a few counties around our area kind of thing. But man done well for himself. But once again, he was a very, very humble gentleman. He never let his blessings turn him into a bad person on that end. But we're praying for everybody, especially the ones
That's lost love.
that's dealing with all this right now, a new season in life. But
They're waiting on me.
oh, y'all waiting on me now? Okay.
You want to put on me?
We put the link in. Anybody wants to come in and chat, we'll let it roll for a minute. If not, then we'll get into this small hive beetle article. Till then, I guess I'll yak about this for a second. That was some of our. All right, we're going to transition into the hive beetles. We're going to go back about 8 weeks. Was the last time we were into the colonies. Everybody's looking good, buddy. We hitting them with the peppermint extract once a week. The beetle juice we get with the eucalyptus. And man, everybody's doing fine when we're doing our inspections leading up to this past 8 weeks.
I think it's been about 7 or 8 weeks now. I think 7 weeks since we were in them. Mm-hmm. Maybe it's 8 because I went 6 weekends in a row at Grandma's, and we couldn't. And we had last weekend off. See, it's been about 8 weeks.
Yeah. And that's where I was fired up on what I was talking about, helping an individual earlier.
DC, that's what we were so aggravated with was literally, like no exaggeration, every spare minute we had for the last few months has gone to somebody else. Like we literally had not even had time to go crack the lids and just put beetle juice in, much less doing anything else. But no, that's why we were so mad. Like with ourselves and with everything we can't control. That was what got us. Like if we'd have just been able to make 30 minutes every few weeks in the daylight to at least put the treatment in,
We'd have been fine.
we would have been okay. But we just didn't. We didn't have time. Like literally from daylight to dark, we were going somewhere, not at home, and a lot of it was for free. But
yeah, that's where a lot of, once again, my aggravation built up. And that's where we get into what happened out there that I'm going to say I believe. We treated the ground in May. The treatment, the triazidine, something like that. What's that stuff?
triazicide.
Yeah. Triaz or somebody. Anyway, it kills grubs and all that stuff in the ground. All right. I threw out double the amount for treatment, especially around the colonies, and to treat the ground. Then we was using the peppermint extract and that little bitty bit of eucalyptus
In
the hives. And everything worked beautifully. The times that we was able to check on them, we crack a lid and we may see what, 4?
Maybe. I mean, y'all have seen it.
But
too.
yeah. So the peppermint extract and the eucalyptus most definitely for us has been the far superior on keeping them out. But now we're leading up to the 8 weeks. All right. Work, weekends, it was either rain or we was running the roads. Yeah, or we're up at Hannah's grandma's. So we was just in that.
We just literally had no time.
So wasn't able to put the beetle juice on it. And now we're getting back to last week. We had come home and let Jasper and them out after we got home. Well, I was hearing it sounded like a swarm, but I don't know. It was like it's hard to describe the sound that they had. There was no fighting going on, but it was the light sound of a swarm. I guess the best way to explain it. So I went down there and got to looking, and I seen, man, there was just bees all over the place, all in the air, looking at them on a couple of trees, climbing up the tree, and I'm like, what in the world are y'all doing? And as I got closer, I started to smell. And I was like, oh, come on. Well, peeped in the horizontal box there, and sure enough, you can see the slime on the bottom board down there. Then I got to looking down on the ground, and there's poor little bees. I guess old foragers / robbers starting to come in, but they fly in, and whenever they try to come back out, they was slime, so they couldn't go anywhere. So you had bees all on the ground trying to clean themselves because they done got in the goo. And I told Hannah, I said, look, we got to get out there and see what's going on. So just so happened we had this past Friday or Saturday off, whichever one it was. And that's whenever we got in and we discovered what the videos have shown on that end. And so went through all that, got everything cleaned up. I got to rinse out frames now and hopefully get some of those back on the little boombox bees we got, and the one little colony that's still surviving out there. So nothing else. we can get them
Oh,
built up.
gosh.
What had happened?
They're going on about hive beetles. I guess Russell's never seen one. He thought SHB was some kind of drink. But Lee said, Philip told him we can mail you some hive beetles. And then Lee said we can make him a shake.
Ooh,
Yeah.
Mm.
But then
a protein
Philip wrote
shake.
back, Joey and Lee, maybe y'all can get those Cajuns to eat the hive beetles like the Nutri Rat. That's disgusting.
Oh,
uh,
it'd be one deal. I couldn't tell you what you're eating. You can try it, but you don't want to know what it is. But I guess it'd be an excellent source of protein.
yeah.
I'm not going there.
Oh my God.
Especially, y'all know that the stench that it puts off if you've ever had to deal with them.
Oh, that's nasty.
That's all I can be smelling.
No, eliminate. That's what we were so frustrated about. We had not had time to go put the peppermint in. But if we had been able to do what we needed to do, we wouldn't have lost the colonies.
Mm-hmm.
But we were in high demand the last couple months, needing to be everywhere. Todd said sprinkle some crumbled ramen on top of that shit. Oh no. Deep fried peanut butter spread replacement. Y'all are getting carried away here.
Or do it like a lot of your meals now. They got crickets milled up in there, so why not throw you a little hive beetle larvae in there?
Oh, that's true, Philip. The smell don't go away after you put them in the freezer either. No,
No,
it's there.
that's why
It's raunchy.
I bleach them. I do a 50-50 with bleach water. Soak them for a minute. After they come out of the freezer, then I take a water hose with that shower, whatever the shower's sitting on there, and it cleans everything out, and we let it dry, and within a day or two, you'll see the bees out there trying to rob off whatever they can get off them things and put them back in the box.
All right, all the Forrest Gumps in the chat. Y'all are gonna make me gag. Chocolate cover, put Tabasco.
If they just rolling with it.
Russell, we vacuumed a lot of it out with that little wet dry vac, but I guess we're gonna go down there and scrub it out with bleach.
Well, the rains that we've had the last few days, I left that lid
We
open.
left the top open so it could kind of get washed out and dry out.
It's pretty well
But
washed all that nastiness out because on top of it, what them hive beetle larvae are doing is they're chewing through them cells, all right? And it don't matter if it's a brood cell, a pollen cell, or a honey cell. That larva is chewing through that mess. So if they're chewing on that larva is getting in them cappings. Think about this, man. They get into them cappings where that honey is. You get so much of that going on, it's like a mini cutout, if you will. You'll start having that honey running. Well, then as them beetle larvae are hatching from their egg stage into larvae stage, they start defecating and it gets mixed in with your honey and your pollen, and they done ate off your whatever brood you got left in there. And all that starts mixing together. Then whenever you get more and more of them, you'll get a drip on the bottom boards. And like what we had, you look down in that bottom and it'll be just a small sheet of honey on top of a mix of defecation and pollen and
oh yeah,
all that.
Philip, it was bad. I don't think the camera did it justice for how bad it was.
Especially all them ones they had in that corner. I mean, even us watching it on the deal, I'm going, that is a lot of beetles, but actually seeing literally hundreds
Mhm.
of hive beetles, not just the larvae. We're talking about the beetle
With
alone.
actual adult beetles.
And they had them crammed in that corner, or what was left of the bees in there, had them crammed in that corner. And it was like, oh my goodness.
It, which, and too, yeah, we've never had that. I mean, we've had beetle infestations and absconds, but not that bad. Yeah, it was extremely traumatizing.
So we, we know where the point of failure was. We know what works to prevent an infestation.
As long as you have time
That's it.
to do it.
Getting in there, and now with the peppermint extract and all, we was going about every week and a half to 2 weeks.
I think the longest we went was like 3.5 or 4 weeks.
Yeah.
And
Now,
didn't have trouble.
and that was last year, because that's when we really started hitting them heavy.
Yeah.
Was last year with it, and once we started seeing excellent results, and we was like, okay, this actually works. So started moseying into that. Then, every week and a half, or whenever we were down there in them, we would just hit them anyway. But it was just basically that, and not being able to get into them is the whole reason why that situation happened. But let me read off a little bit of this, and this is from, where is this? Be Aware. And all they're doing in this particular, I guess, website here. Now they across the pond over there. I know we got one or two folks from Australia that are subbed. I don't know if anybody in here tonight, but this is from Australia. But whoever did this got a pretty good article on it, lines things out. But once again, on the management part, I'm not so much in agreement on. And we'll read about some of that in a minute and just kind of get y'all's opinion on what you would do, especially if you've had to encounter this situation before. But the small hive beetle, the background, small hive beetle is a small brown black beetle with clubbed antennae that originated from sub-Saharan Africa. In Africa, the small hive beetle is not a significant honeybee pest species. And that's what got me. I've been thinking all along that's the whole reason these things is around, because they all about honeybees. But undoubtedly, that is not their main go-to. But however, since arriving in Australia in 2002, the small hive beetle has caused a major impact to honeybee colonies throughout the warm and humid coastal strip between Victoria and North Queensland. The larva stage of the small hive beetle life cycle causes the majority of damage to active hives by burrowing into combs, eating brood, honey, and pollen. Unlike some other honeybee pest species, the small hive beetle is attracted to, no, it's pretty well not attracted to active hives because of the availability of food. Wisp feeding the larva also carry a yeast species, and it's got the Latin term, I'm not even fixing to try that, which contaminates the honey, causing it to ferment. Heavy infestations cause the hive to become slimed out or may cause the colony to die or abscond. The development of small hive beetle throughout its life cycle depends primarily on humidity, temperature, and food availability. As such, small hive beetle has the greatest impact in warm and humid coastal strip between Victoria and North Queensland, which that's, down here, that's prime territory for them things down here. Hot, humid, got a good food source, but it's found in all states, which is talking about Australia still, and in territories of Australia except Tasmania, Northern Territory, and southern parts of Western Australia. The small hive beetle life cycle can take between 3 to 12 weeks and has 4 stages: egg, larva, pupae, and adult beetle. Eggs. Female small hive beetles can lay approximately 1,000 eggs in her lifetime, and some research suggests an upper limit of 2,000 eggs. The female will lay the cluster of approximately 10 to 30 eggs within capped brood cells or in small cracks or crevices around the hive. The eggs are pearly white and approximately 1.4 millimeter long and 0.26 millimeters wide, about 2/3 the size of a honeybee egg. The number of eggs that will hatch depends primarily on the relative humidity, with some evidence suggests at 30 degrees Celsius, which I have no idea what that is, no eggs will hatch at or below 34% relative humidity. It takes approximately 1 to 6 days for larvae to emerge from the eggs, though most hatch within 3 days within a hive. So, we talking about is prime territory around here. The larvae. The larvae stage of small hive beetle life cycle is most damaging because the larvae immediately start to burrow through combs and cappings and consume honeybee eggs, pollen, and honey. They also defecate throughout the comb, releasing a yeast, K something other is Latin, which contaminates the honey in both active hives and stored combs. This yeast causes the honey to ferment, which may cause the hive to become slimed out and die or abscond. The larvae are approximately 1 centimeter long and 1.6 millimeters wide and are a creamy white with a tan brown head. They have 3 pairs of prolegs at the front of their body and 2 rows of small spikes down the length of their back. The development period for the larvae depends on the temperature and the availability of food, but generally takes between 8 to 29 days. That's what it said. After a feeding period of between 6 to 14 days, larvae enter a wandering phase where they could travel up to 200 meters outside. That's 600 feet, right? In meters, 200. All right.
Yeah.
All right. So we'll say they'll travel roughly up to 600 feet outside the honeybee colony to find an appropriate site for pupation, typically moist soil. At this point, the small hive beetle may be vulnerable to predation by ants or birds. When larvae cannot find an appropriate site for pupation, they are still able to pause. They are still able to pause development for a period of time until suitable conditions arise. So, if they can't find a spot, they say, "Look, I'm gonna hold up for a minute, and I'm gonna mosey down the road this way this time and see if I can find somewhere." Did not realize that. Now, I did know several folks have talked about how, who was it? Was it the professional guy down in Florida at the university, I think it was, that where they tracked it from inside the building all the way outside. But that's crazy that they'll hold off until they can find them a good spot.
And Shane has, how the federal colonies in our area
Honestly, can't say shame, but I can imagine they're dealing with the same issues too. I reckon, because I mean, if it's just happening like this in our yard, there ain't no telling what's going on. If they're in an old shed or in the crevice of a tree or something along those lines, to where they can't, I guess, push them into a corner and keep them pinned in there like they normally would. So I'm gonna say it's just as much of a battle for feral colonies as it is for colonies within somebody's yard. Where was we just at? You patient. The adult beetle. Adult small hive beetles are able to fly up to 15 kilometers to locate a honeybee colony. I should have wrote all this in feet. That'd been a smart thing. So whatever, they'll fly up to 15 kilometers, however far that is, to locate a honeybee colony to infest. Adult beetles prefer weak hives in spring and summer. Okay. This is where I'm going to stop for a second, because I'm not going to say an argument, but there has been discussions of, well, that colony was weak and that it was mites that got them first. And I'm speaking for us on just the hive beetles there, that there was something else leading up to before the hive beetle got in there, is why the colony collapsed, died, or absconded, whatever the case is. But there have been gentlemen to say here on YouTube, especially some of us that are down here dealing with these little things, that it don't matter if it's a weak colony or if they're busting at the seams with bees, that they will run a strong colony out just as quick as a weak colony.
They will go live a strong colony. Like it's unbelievable what the little monsters can do.
Now, with me saying that, it's because it's in here too. That way, I don't, I guess, confusion on anything. But they're able to fly 15 kilometers, locate honey. Adult beetles prefer weak hives in spring and summer, but strong hives in autumn, where the higher honeybee numbers keep them warm. So they're going to go in a nice, fine, warm spot, and we're going to have fun up in here too. Run them out, kill them. Keep them find a nice warm spot. It is believed that small hive beetle adults find the hives by detecting the odor of adult bees and hive products, honey and pollen. Okay, let me stop right there on that too.
Lisa, 15 kilometers is 9.3 miles.
9.3 miles.
Mm-hmm.
Okay, so that beetle gonna travel. Thank you, Lee. Appreciate that, bro. And I've discussed this theory with the peppermint, and we talked about it as cover scent, like your deer hunting. Do you think why we've had less trouble since we put that peppermint and eucalyptus oil in there? Yes, it's making a cover scent, and that's why we're not having that issue. But undoubtedly, According to this website here, it is believed that the adults find the hives by detecting the odor of adult bees and hive products. There are some suggestions that the adult beetles can also detect the honeybee alarm pheromone.
The alarm pheromone?
The alarm pheromone. It is, well, they're saying it is suggested, or some suggest, that they can detect the pheromone.
So it's just a guess.
Pretty, on that end, pretty much. Adult beetles are 5 to 7 millimeters long and 3 to 4.5 millimeters wide, and females tend to be longer and heavier than males on average and occur in great proportions in the population. The adult beetles have clubbed antennae and are initially a yellowish or reddish brown, transitioning to brown or black as their exoskeleton hardens.
DC said he watched a university video talking about that. The peppermint does match the scent of the house.
Oh yeah,
That's pretty cool.
shoot me that. Send me that in a DC if you remember where it's at. Shoot me that link in an email, bro. If you don't mind, I like to check that out. Okay, so they're just like anything else. Once they transition their exoskeleton, they get their main colors, which is a brown or black.
Mm-hmm. That's a creepy looking little thing with it zoomed in on its head like that.
Maybe I can spin it around, see if it pick it up on the thing here in a second, show y'all. Adult beetles reach sexually maturity at 7 days and mate within the honeybee colony. Adult beetles can survive up to 6 months feeding on honey and up to 50 days feeding on an empty brood comb. Adult beetles can also be fed. They can also be fed by bees in the hive via mouth-to-mouth feeding, especially when they are confined to bee-guarded prisons. The beetles use their antennae to induce guard bees to regurgitate food, which the small hive beetle then consumes. So they got all kinds of tricks up their sleeves.
Look at here. I watched the video. Was it a spider mimicking ants?
We were watching one. It was a moth getting in them bee colonies where
Is that what
it had the cover scent, and it had just so long to get in there and get it a snack, but it would mimic the bees, and it would sit there and they would talk with their antennas, what have you, and mosey on around, and the bees would just think, hey, it's one of us, but
Yeah.
you
But then when it got found out, they called it up.
yeah, if it didn't get out of there in time, they'd ball that rascal up. All right, we're gonna mosey over into that was just the generalization of egg, larvae, pupae, and the
Is that
adult.
what wax moths do? What were you just talking about? ACS?
I think so. Well, there's a. Let's see if I can find if it's on this. There is a portion talking about having the wax moths in there.
No, but he was saying what we were just not like a moth mimicking bees.
Yeah. Mm-hmm. All right, let me get back up here to where I think.
Look, we actually did try that. We had a beekeeper around here tell us about the roach poison. And we honestly tried it before we figured out the beetle juice, but our bees just fertilized the entrances to the traps.
Every time.
And it didn't do any good.
We made the CDs, we bought the beetle barns, we bought the oil traps.
All of it. And they just closed them up.
Anything we could think of, make, do, Google, YouTube to see, and pretty much, especially with the CD cases and the beetle bombers for us, we put them in there, bait them, and a lot of times, like them CD cases, we use the diatomaceous earth,
Mhm.
and it worked to a point. Don't get me wrong, but within a week and a half, you go in there and check that little CD case, and once again, was they're just doing what they're
Look,
doing.
yeah. I mean, there was beetles up there. I think they would work if the bees would quit sealing them up.
Yeah, they knew we was trying to, seal off one end. I got you. That way you can just run them in there, corral them, and keep them in there. But they just seal off everything, and that's what they do with like with the slats that we have on the horizontal hives. Somebody had asked in the comments on that video, it looked like we had the slats. There's not enough space on those slats between the frame and the bottom of it. But whenever we put them slats on there, we got them. They're pretty tight, but it's just enough to where you can kind of kick them a little bit and put them in a bind to where there was a little bit of a gap.
Mhm.
And oftentimes, if you go back and look on our older videos, especially when we're showing y'all a couple years back, when we roll that slat off, either Hannah or myself, whichever one's got it, the first thing we do is pick that slat up and get it away from the colony, and the other one is vacuuming on top of those frames, because what they would do, they'd have a perfect line down each side of those frames where they run them beads in there and they would propolize them. But with us doing inspections, we would break that seal, and naturally, once you broke that seal, they'd go to running and getting away. But thankfully, that's where the vacuum come in and saved our tail a bunch of times from just running around not being able to do nothing with them.
You're right, DC. I mean, for sure, this has been the best plan of attack for us. Like this mixture of beetle juice, what we call it. But yeah, we're constantly brainstorming on a way to make it last longer. But I mean, short of just soaking the hives in it on the inside, I don't really know what else we could do to make it last. Because he was saying you started with the candies, then moved to this style of application. Now it's time to devise a method that produces longer results.
Well, yes, sir. And that has been my whole brainstorming of what can we do. The main thing, the preventative, like far as the peppermint, once again, our opinion has been a good tool for us. But where I've been going with it is we got to stop them things somehow from getting in the colony. Or if they get in the colony, we need, and I told Hannah, I said, I got a couple ideas on some things. I'm going to put some of them blasted beetles in some jars, some mason jars. And I got a couple concoctions I'm going to make up with pollen sub, some honey, and a couple additives, we'll say, to where we can place into something that the bees can't get in there to it, but it's not harmful as far as a vapor or anything like that affecting the bees. But the main thing, yes, we got to find something to keep them things out. Or once again, if they get in, we got to find something whenever they get in there, they will go to a bait, just like an ant bait, something That's the first thing they go to. Versus trying to go up to them frames, they go to whatever bait it is, ingest it, takes them out. You ain't got to worry about them. Like I said, I'm gonna tinker around with a couple things and see if any of those may work. If it don't, we'll move on to something else until we find one thing to do. Because before I had read this article and realizing that the small hive beetle wasn't an issue down in Africa down there, what's the problem then? Why aren't they affecting the bees down there versus what's the difference between our bees and their bees? And from what I found is the bees that are down there in Africa, that if the hive beetle tries to get into that colony, then I reckon for the most part, most of the colonies down there now are Africanized in some sort of way. And undoubtedly, if we start getting into hygiene, which we don't want no African bees around here by any means, but the African bees somewhere in the hygiene, kind of like, everybody's doing these queens with BSH and stuff like that, trying to get that genetic to run that mite out. Those African bees apparently do the same thing with a hive beetle. But once again, don't want no Africanized bees at all around this place. So if we can't do that, then we got to figure out another source to remedy this issue. And I wish it was talked about a little bit more. And I'm gonna say, yeah, on our end, because I mean this is our number one, I guess, loss with the bees is dealing with the hive beetle. It I know it's not happening just to us, because we've talked to a few of the commercial people around here and some of the sideline folks, and just, I guess, picking their brain, asking them, look, do y'all have the same problem with hive beetles? And they're like, yes, man, we do. We lose colony after colony, year after year, from some stinking things. And it just goes into, well, this is what I do, this is what I, and it just kind of creates that conversation, but you don't see a whole lot of people chirping about this side of beekeeping.
More people do with mites than bees.
I mean, I get that too with the mites. That's just another pest to deal with. That's another downfall in beekeeping. Just spending the money to keep whatever pest it is, whether it's mites, beetles, and reading up on the wax moth. The wax moth's just pretty much, it's just like an opportunist that really the only way they're going to pretty well take over in a colony is if there is a weak spot or a weak colony, or you have that brood comb that's not full and there's nobody really guarding it, things of that nature, then yes, the wax moth kind of takes advantage of that. But yet, that wax moth just pretty well has that one larva that you see in there.
Mm-hmm.
And most oftentimes, you just take a hive tool if you see one, and do the hive tool test on that thing, and that's it. But it appears that our greatest,
Yep.
what you get?
Lee. He said I got me a cup of death wish too. He thought I had to get up for a refill.
Oh yeah, she's had half or a dozen cups of it today.
I've been drinking it all day long, trying to finish my chores around here.
So, what can we do to stop it all around? What kind of tests are people doing to actually try to prevent this for beekeepers dealing with it?
Brian, see, we do have one like that. The bug man sent us one of the ones he uses, the oil bottom boards. And then Tim made one to fit just like a cheap cookie sheet or whatever, like a DIY oil bottom board basically. But our problem is with all the rain and humidity and moisture down here, we have to set our boxes on just a little bit of an incline to get the water to shed off the tops. So, and we didn't think about it until we went to set the one Chris sent us up. But we're trying to figure out something else we can put in, because if we just put liquid in the bottom or in the tray, then it's all just going to run to the front, and the back half of the tray will be dry. So it was kind of defeating its purpose on that end.
But we did,
So,
well, with that being said, we did have good results, which I just tinkered with the one we built. But the one that Chris, the bug man, sent to us, I mean, that's, somebody put time into it, and it's actually real nice looking and all that. I told you it was going to happen. I told you it was going to happen. I derailed.
because you were watching all the train wreck videos.
I was, y'all. I told her, I said, I've been watching train. She was looking at my phone for all this. I was literally watching trains derail on YouTube before here, and I said, I hope and pray I don't derail. But if y'all with us, y'all know it's going to happen. Where's it going? The bottom boards.
Yeah.
Okay. On this particular beetle infestation, it was in the horizontal hives, and it wasn't the Langstroth.
Mm-hmm.
So,
well, yeah, that too.
that was the only. We don't have a way really. Go ahead.
And Brian, we had thought about that too, but trying to. He was saying maybe if you could make a shim above the bottom board so the hive slopes, but not the bottom board.
Oh, I can do that. Oh, yeah.
Take a piece of one line and just put a shim at an angle that goes all the way across.
Mm-hmm. Yeah, we can do that. Let's definitely go from nothing to something. Well, I mean, I have to go from nothing to 3/4 of an inch because that's our fall.
Yeah.
But
that and then DC was talking about taking the little. I told him we got a whole bag full of these things, and I never thought about it. But he was saying, like, mix up our beetle juice just in bigger quantities and soak it, peppermint sticks, popsicle sticks in the beetle juice, and just let them saturate in it, and then just put those in the hives. I don't know if that would last longer. But that Mr. Mike Conley was saying too, to get oil, peppermint oil instead of extract.
And the oil stay in there a little longer, maybe.
Well, I think he must have had to dip out, because I asked him that. Like, you reckon the oil would stay on a little longer than the extract? And he never answered, or I didn't see him answer, but I kind of just assumed that was where he was going with it, that the oil might, all of it might not evaporate as fast as just the extract.
Nothing else. I'll call you on the way home tomorrow, Mr. Mike. Still.
Yeah.
Now, let's see what was it.
Oh, there he is. Yeah, he said the oil stays longer. And we're almost out of that last bottle we mixed up. So
We
I
got
was thinking about
peppermint oil up there. Remember we bought the 3-pack that had the lemongrass, peppermint oil, and what, lavender or something?
so we could just mix it. Wait, did you give that to somebody? Because we were going to use it.
No, I was giving it to Mr. Donnie, but he didn't ever take it home.
Mm.
Where was it in here? There's another portion. All right. There was, I can't remember what they called it. I'm trying to rummage through here and speed read, if you will, to see if I can find it. But there was one idea I thought that would probably be a pretty good idea. And this really, especially since there ain't no bees in there right now, we could definitely do it. But I guess over in Australia, this is how they do it in their bottom boards. They did not specify whether it's a lane straw or a horizontal, but undoubtedly on a bottom board, take a bottle, Coca-Cola bottle, water bottle, whatever it is, but drill a hole. And the only way I could figure about maybe keeping that thing to stay was drill a hole big enough where you could put a cap off that Coca-Cola bottle, all right, in that bottom board. Glue that thing down with some hot glue so it wouldn't come off or turn on you. You with me? All right, then cut a hole plenty big enough for that beetle to get down into that lid. But what you do is put the lid on there, glue it, screw your cocoa bottle on the bottom with some oil in it. Then fur it, shim it, whatever you want to call it, just high enough to where you can have a little block or piece of luan, something like that, a thin sheet of plywood, whatever the case may be. But have it up just so high off the top of the bottom board to where you basically got a platform sitting above that cap. The bees can't get down in there, but they can push the beetles up underneath it. And by them pushing the beetles up underneath there, the hive beetle will fall down inside that bottle and drown in the oil. And I thought, well, that's a pretty good idea there, especially with them chasing them around. And if they see that's a good little hiding spot, if they, if it works,
Yeah.
they'll run them up underneath that platform. Then eventually, with the bees keeping them inside that little area, that they'll eventually fall down into that bottle.
I mean, worth a shot. Anything's worth a shot at this point.
Mm-hmm.
Mr. Mike said he tried the popsicle sticks and it didn't work for him.
It worked.
Busting my bubble. But still, I mean, people have given us a few good ideas to at least try.
Appreciate you, Philip. Yeah, y'all hit that like button first. We're almost, how many, what, 40? 42 away from the 1,000.
Seriously?
Seriously. So we're almost to 1,000 subs. And if there's any silent watchers in here not commenting and y'all new to the channel, we appreciate y'all subbing.
Yeah,
And,
we do. Very much.
We got probably about 5 more the other day. And Randy, if you're watching Dirt Rooster, we appreciate you giving us a shout out on your little live the other day. Because I did notice we got, some more subscribers from that shout out there. So thank you.
959.
Now, well,
I did not realize we had gained that.
we're getting close, y'all. We're almost there.
I gotta get to working on our giveaway. Huh?
So, good.
Stop tomorrow and get the stuff for that.
And you know what that means?
What?
Once we get that 1,001, we can do our members only
Yeah.
with our members.
Finally get that
Instead of
done.
trying to do one and it not working. But while I'm on that, thank y'all very much on that too.
Yeah, for real, y'all. We do appreciate it. I had no idea we were that close. I thought we were like right at 900. I'm thinking I still got time to do what I'm gonna do for the giveaway. I better get my tail in gear.
No, we had a, what was it we talked
Give
about?
away some small Hive Beetle shakes.
Hey, I already get a couple of them things and put them in some epoxy. Do a giveaway. We do Hive Beetles
Disgusting.
and Hive Beetles with the larvae in there. What you think about that? There's some little keychains you can put on the keychain and say, hey, I'm a beekeeper.
I really don't think you want to know what I think about.
Well, you could do that like some people say. How they do that? Tell me you're a beekeeper without telling me you're a beekeeper. You can hold up your hive beetle and your hive beetle larvae. There you go. But that's about all I got on that there, people. Like I said, if any of y'all want to go back and read on this, go to Be Aware. It's all one word. And there's several. There's a life cycle, the appearance, detection, spread, and distribution, similar pests, and a couple videos. But I didn't watch a video.
All right, people, it's on y'all now.
Yep, we feeding off y'all. I done yacked and got my rant out the way.
Oh, dude, crazy. It's 8:43. I thought it was like maybe 8 o'clock. Hey, I just took you out.
Time flies when you're having fun. Talking to my friends.
Oh, your friends.
Mm-hmm. Oh, man, hold on. Let me go back. There was a, what was it? There was a strip. I guess kind of like them moth strips. But I don't know if that's something that you just can get over there in Australia. And with our rules and regulations and all that kind of junk over here that you have to deal with, it's probably something you couldn't even put in your colony around here.
We appreciate you, Philip, very much.
Again.
He's got 2 other accounts he doesn't use, and he just stubbed our channel on them.
Thank you, bro. Appreciate
it. 39 to go.
Mm-hmm. Thank you.
That make you happy? You want to say hey everybody?
Man, I was trying to think. We had a really good idea for the giveaway the other day. What was that? Well, it was the queen cages, but there was something else. What in the world was that? I'll think of it as soon as we turn this thing off. But it was like, I don't even want to say because I can't remember what it was. But no, it went with beekeeping, but it was nothing that you would use out in the yard. But we talked about it, was like, that'd be a pretty good little giveaway for somebody just to have it pass and put up.
Conversation you had in the chat, but it never actually made it out loud.
Maybe I'll probably tell Jasper about it. As much as I talked to him too.
See how much he loves me, y'all. He can't remember if he told me or the dog.
Well, I mean, if y'all watched the last video, she put me in there with the dog.
Oh yeah, that was another thing I was going to bring up tonight. He gave me such a hard time last week about feeding Jasper peanut butter crackers. That bag of chips. that he fed those dogs was supposed to be my lunch on the river. So I'm not the only one that does that, y'all. Not by a long shot.
You just use that for video evidence for the rare time.
Oh yeah, I was thinking I
Yeah.
got it. Here's my proof.
Mm,
I'm gonna show everybody.
she's just trying to get me back because I found out where all my crackers for snack time was
He's
going.
just trying to act all innocent and cute,
Moving on.
which is cute, but definitely not innocent.
Moving on.
Yeah. You gonna do the subject shifting tonight,
We got
huh?
different things.
You're
talk
going to talk
you know
about
what
it
I'm
when you're the one feeding the dogs stuff they're not supposed to have.
saying? Anyway,
Ain't got nothing to say, babe.
look, anybody got time for that?
I know.
Mm.
You're almost out of time, too.
I know, and I was just thinking to myself, we done went through our food portion of
A twisted version of it.
we went from barbecuing larvae to sauteing larvae
Mm.
to lemon pepper larvae. What else y'all have in there?
We really were going to do a cooking video, a couple weeks ago. And we ended up having to spend that whole day doing something we weren't supposed to do.
What was it?
Remember, I was going to do the etouffee.
The etouffee.
I did cook it. We just didn't do a cooking video. Oh, tell her thank you, Lee. Larva gumbo.
Ooh, you know what to say now, don't you there?
Mm. I ain't going there.
Who was that old Cajun chef that used to be on TV all the time? He's done departed, but
I don't know.
oh man, what was that dude's name? He was a famous Cajun chef that you seen on, which I mean, all of us growing up, we pretty well didn't have no much cable TV.
Justin Wilson.
Nah,
Joe and Lee are both saying Justin Wilson. Big letters.
that may have
You're
been him.
wrong. They're right. They're from Louisiana. They know what they're talking about.
How'd he do it? Like, ooh, that's always good for you there, yeah, or something along that line. But I was thinking, have him cook some of it for you.
You don't like that.
What?
You talking about
Fried
etouffee
larva?
or larva gumbo?
I'm talking about larva. Gumbo. I'm just talking about getting the fancy cook to do it for you.
Oh, heck, I mean, people eat snails and fish eggs and call it luxury. So I'm sure you could find somebody that eat that.
Like me eating them snails.
Oh gosh, I'm gonna have to be hungry. I mean, like unbelievably hungry. Like I was telling you the other day, but I went when I first started battling that hernia. I went like 30 some odd days, literally 30 something days without eating a bite of solid food. And it still never crossed my mind to go dig me up a snail and eat it. Like just
No, I ain't fitting.
Lee knows the famous man. He said Justin Wilson used to live about 5 miles from me. I used to see him at the store all the time.
I heard of that. So what's the secret to your cooking, Captain?
Lots of Tonys.
That's what I was gonna say. Tony's accessories. I bet you that was his main ingredient.
Yeah.
I'm thinking on cooking.
Philip said Justin Wilson, John Folds, Emerald
Lagasse.
Lagasse. Okay.
Emerald
I didn't know how to
Lagasse.
say that
Yep.
one.
That's the one I was looking for there, Phil. Appreciate you. All the Mullen had a good too.
I reckon so. Most anybody from Louisiana can cook. So.
They got some fine cuisines over there. Thankfully, for the most part. Well, like New Orleans and Mobile were sister cities, if you will. And a lot of our cooking we get from, or a lot of our dishes are from the Cajun folk and all that. And I'm glad too, because buddy, it's some fine food.
Nate, we rarely go as far as Destin, but we do go to Pensacola some. Because it's only, with light traffic, you can be in Pensacola in an hour and a half or so from us. So, and plus, my brother used to he lived in Pensacola for 3 or 4 years.
He lived over in Cantonment, just right outside of Pensacola, right there.
Yeah. Philip said Emerald says bam when he puts in the spices.
It's been a little while since we've been over there. What, about 3 years since we've been over Pensacola?
Yeah, it's been a minute. But, I don't does it take us longer to get to Gulf Shores Beach in Pensacola?
Or yeah, because you're dealing with all
The
that traffic. Go
traffic.
shore. You can stay on the interstate from downtown Mobile right there at I-10. Many of y'all know where we're talking about, running through them tunnels right there. As soon as you hit that Bayway on I-10, you could be in downtown Pensacola in 45 minutes.
Oh, okay. He said I lived in Pensacola for a summer. That's pretty cool.
Oh, yeah.
They were so close down here. But it is. The beaches are beautiful over there.
Their water is prettier, that's for sure.
Yeah,
We got prettier beaches.
like the actual beach part, but they have more of that.
Emerald Coast.
Yeah, that teal, turquoise looking water.
Yeah.
Oh yeah, I forgot Dad lives in Pensacola.
Mm-hmm.
We're gonna have to make a day trip. Come hang out one day.
Say howdy.
Going to Gulf Shores or Pensacola? He said, I just remember a long bridge with a toll to go to the beach.
I don't know. Nope. Well, you did have a one toll over there in Orange Beach, which is between Pensacola and Gulf Shores.
Yeah.
Now we used to have to turn off right there at I-10, the last exit before you went over the Pensacola Bay Bridge. I forget what that was. It may have been the Cantonment exit, but it's where we used to have to go see your brother and all over there.
Mm-hmm.
Right there. Now, Dale probably knows exactly where this is, but where the lighthouse is, right there in Cantonment or Pensacola area, whatever that road runs through there.
I don't remember.
The old timey lighthouse.
Which I'm terrible with street names. Like anybody that knows me knows you better give me some really good landmarks, not street names.
Mr. JW, he done got
He
in here.
just came in a few minutes ago.
Good to see you, Captain.
Oh, Tom and Melissa popped in too. So
There you
they
go.
finally got a Sunday evening off.
We appreciate y'all dropping by too. Good to see you. Let's see, who's up there? Sarah Burke?
Yeah.
Metaphor. Good to see you too. Couple new names moving on in here.
Sarah comes in a good bit. Sarah Bird. Well, those Sarahs do. But
Right. She said, yeah, it's haunted. Hey, that thing does kind of, spooky looking.
yeah,
I can see where folks would get the idea that
you're sitting
it may be a little eerie going down to that place, but
on the side.
it's pretty neat seeing that old lighthouse. Kind of like going over there where old Randy's at, his area. But,
Go for it.
yeah, Biloxi Gulfport area, you got the lighthouse in the middle of Highway 90
Yeah.
right there. What are they doing with notes?
I think I stuck them in the phone, but
Trying to make sure that all my Yeah, could you get that on just a minute? Thank you.
You can be technical difficulties. Y'all know we can't get through a show without at least one technical difficulty.
Charging cord again.
That's been giving you fits last
Mhm.
day.
Like getting in
Even
fire
though the
batch.
phone's fully charged and doesn't need to be plugged up.
Well, you told me to charge it.
2 hours ago.
Oh, somebody's knocking on the door.
Yeah.
Who's this here? I knew it. I knew it. That one of them Texans.
Hey,
Get him in here. What are you doing, Trouble?
Hey, Philip.
I'm just watching you. I got you on the laptop and on the phone. I was going to show you what I built today. If I can figure out how to turn this camera around.
What, bro?
Oh, he left.
Wait a
That
minute.
thing is crooked still.
It says it's in the stream, but audio only.
Ours is
Okay,
crooked.
hold on. No, I pushed the wrong button. I'm buttons. I'm telling you, I'm buttons 2.0.
Careful.
You've been following an example way too much.
Yeah,
Even Lee just said buttons number 2.
yeah, that's exactly right, Lee. Let's see. Camera facing the back. There. I don't know. It might be too dark.
Hang
See
on,
that
he's
right?
coming up big.
Come on.
I don't know if I can get it. Oh, that doesn't help, does it? You can see it?
Yes, go ahead.
Yeah, that's that's my observation hive I built today.
Oh, that's awesome.
Any chance you can get a little closer to it?
Yeah, let me try. Hold on.
He must be plugged up too. There we go. There we go. Yeah, man. I like that.
That looks really good, Philip.
Yeah, you just take the top off and drop the frame in there. I've got it all screwed together so I can take it apart and clean the glass and stuff. Got a
You
little
need
vent
to
hole
send,
there.
you need to send Tim a tutorial on how to build one of those.
Hey, I kind of made it up as I went along. Let me get the bugs worked out of it. I hope to eventually. It's got a couple of vent holes on the bottom here and some little feet to hold it up off the table. But I hope to eventually have it to where I can mount it on top of like a nucleus colony and maybe even make those have glass panels so I can have like an indoor observation hive with this on top of it. Be able to just take this off and take it. The reason I built this was because I'm going to it's a preschool or daycare or whatever and doing a presentation on Tuesday. So I want to take some live bees with me.
There you go.
That's really nice looking though.
I can't wait to get one and do that. I mean, we got to meet up with Ricky. Lord wills and everything works out whenever he comes to Shelby County, Alabama. We're supposed to go meet Ricky, and he said he had one for us. And Hannah's sister is an educator. She is officially a teacher now.
Mhm.
And she was telling, I guess, principal or somebody about us keeping bees. And they was like, yeah, we want, yeah, please, y'all come out and do it. Then apparently word has spread throughout the teacher world in the public schools. And her sister has been hit up. Hey, look, whenever they get done at your school, send them down here to ours and do it too. And we used to do that. I was over in public relations in the fire department, and that was one of our best events twice a year was going to the schools.
Yeah, I had so much fun. I mean, they just turn you loose in a gym full of kids.
And you talk about everybody can scream and yell and have fun, and we would
Maybe not screaming and yelling and throwing stuff at bees this time, but
we had to change it up a little bit with the bees.
yeah.
Pretty much the kids got into it, and it was just
It was fun.
It was fun going down there, teaching the kids how to, get out of a burning house and just different little things. We'd have games and relays and stuff for them, but
Mm,
I'd love to get back into that portion of it for sure.
yeah.
And I know you'll do good, especially since you helping them kids with that Boy Scouts and stuff. It ought to be a kind of a smooth transition as far as like moseying over to beekeeping and teaching that portion of it besides uh, you out there teaching the Boy Scout stuff.
Yeah. I'm trying to get into StreamYard with my laptop here. But I don't know if it didn't come up yet, I guess.
No, it didn't show up. It should do it because Bob, he's come in a couple times and
But yeah, I
we'll
think I
put
did
something
that.
on a different screen.
Yeah.
Yeah, okay. I just hadn't gone far enough. I think I'm there now, going in now.
And going back just a second, Lee, I seen your comment about whenever we go over there to do a live with Lee.
You're gonna run the
I'm
live.
gonna run that baby. I'm saying, show me the buttons. That's all I want to know is show me the buttons.
Yeah, I told him I was gonna need a lot of coffee for that. He said he had plenty for us. Man.
I just hope I don't push the wrong one. But we'll see what they
That's
all
pretty
do.
well a given. You're gonna hit the wrong one. Mm-mm-mm.
But
Well,
when you're trying to aim to do your first little run with the school kids.
did you say Tuesday?
Tuesday.
Yeah.
Yeah, Tuesday. It's a little Montessori school. They said I had three 30-minute presentations. They I think they're like, hold on a second.
Oh, look at it. There he is again.
All right, I'm gonna get out of this one.
Okay.
Gotcha.
Yeah,
Still
I
there.
was getting an echo there with it being in there twice. Uh, I've got 3 presentations, 30 minutes each, and I think they're going to be like 3 to 6 and no, 3 to 5 and 6 to 8 and 8 to 10, something like that. So
Cool.
it's the first time I've ever done it, so I'm nervous, excited, all that good stuff. And she said something about bringing bees, and I was like, well, I really wasn't planning on bringing bees. And then I got to thinking about it. I was like, you know what? I could throw this thing together in time, hopefully.
And it came together.
Yeah, that's what we needed, some pressure.
Yeah.
Them youngers, they'll make it fun. You know what I mean? Like that, dealing with the youth, how to keep them entertained. You just have to figure I guess how you won't say it. Have yourself lined out, I reckon.
Joey said you'll get hooked on that, Philip.
Yeah. Well, the funny thing is, I she said something about, and I kind of had in the back of my mind thought, I've been wanting to build an observation hive anyway, but I just got thinking, this would be a lot easier than trying to just show pictures and equipment and bee suits and all that nonsense to kids. So this will burn up some time anyway. So, so I'm going to go, I got to be there at 10 a.m. So I should have, as long as we have good weather, Lord willing, I'll be able to go, get a queen and a frame and drop in there and go take it up there.
I hope the weather holds out for y'all. It's like a 70, 80, 90% chance of storms every day for the next week here.
We had some rain this morning, but it cleared off nice in the afternoon. We had California weather today, and I don't mean Todd Loma Vista California weather either. I mean the good stuff.
Yes.
So,
But
yeah, it was super nice here today.
we did school and adventure. I checked this out not long ago, and I wish they had a little better suits, but I don't know. A lot of y'all have probably picked up. I enjoy my lead dispensers and watching videos on lead dispensers.
Hmm.
And there's a dude here on YouTube, Kentucky Ballistics, and he does a little, I don't know, skit, if you will, as far as the intro, and some of them are, they're,
was a giant kid
yes,
with boom booms.
he, but where I'm going with it is he's got one of them Tyrannosaurus Rex suits. You see everybody running around in,
Oh yeah, yeah.
and one of his little skits is dealing with that Tyrannosaurus Rex before he goes to dispensing lead. So it got me thinking. I was like, because I told Hannah a while back, I said, I'd like to give me one of them Tyrannosaurus, dinosaur suits. And she just looked at me like I was crazy and watching me.
Like I'm looking at you now.
Well,
Like, you've been outside a little bit too long, honey.
when I
The
thought,
thing that popped in my mind when you said that was I'd like to see that on top of the motorcycle.
that's a work in progress. That would be an excellent one. But
That would be. You get some
Oh,
views on that one.
my
Sure.
God. DC said Tim can be the Godzilla beekeeper. Why do y'all encourage this? And just why do y'all encourage this?
well, that just gives me more. People are voting already, and one
Yes.
is enough for me. So
You only got one.
that's all
Yeah.
I need.
We're
Apparently.
we're voting with our hearts.
There we go. Yes.
Yeah.
So I checked.
Apparently the only female in the group doesn't count.
Now this is one of those. Well, I mean, Tim doesn't roll this way, but this is one of those. I dare you and I hold my beer moments.
Hold my tea, woman. Don't
Hold
drop
my
the
tea.
glass.
Yeah, hold my tea.
Oh, God.
I did check out the honeybee one just to, do for a kick as a video one day. But they're look
What?
the honeybee. They got a honeybee suit.
Seriously,
Do they?
looked into it.
Yes, I looked on Amazon and they got them.
I'm gonna go look out on it as soon as we leave here. I'm gonna go look it up.
They were okay if they had more of a. I know no, the world doesn't want to hear this nowadays, but if you had more of a masculine thing that just, hardcore Bruce Willis die hard kind of bee looking suit.
Like the Big John grandpa.
Yeah, just like that.
Like the Commander Bee. My gosh.
That will be good. But the suits for the honeybee, it's kind of like, even for me, I looked at it and I was like, that's, I'm not going to say what I was thinking, but that's just,
Thank
no.
Yeah.
Yeah, you might could pull that off, Tim. You should
But the
try.
dinosaur, I'll go for the
Please don't.
dinosaur.
Tell him. Please.
And they're not that expensive. Y'all
I've got
keep your
a
eyes out.
Mm.
I've got a oh, it's a squid hat. It's rainbow colored. Yeah, you should see me in that one.
Oh, what is that?
A squid.
A squid.
Squid. I should probably go get that. Hold on
Put
a
it
second.
on.
Let me
We'll be here. Go get it.
let me stop the camera real quick.
There we go. Yes, sir.
You think Sophie was embarrassed because you sang along with the radio at the restaurant? That poor girl is going to be devastated if she sees you on YouTube live. Squid.
DC, I'm gonna have to check out that suit. I haven't seen that there suit yet. So let me do some researching on that.
Mm.
See what? While we waiting on Phil, we do that right here. What was it?
First thing.
From Beekeeper. Let's see what this thing looks like.
You might have to have it.
Oh, that looks like a motorcycle get up right there. If that's the
That looks like a street.
Let's see, we got to get the
about.
camera further back here.
Oh, there we go. Yes.
Yeah, that's it. Should stand up here a little better. Yeah.
That's great.
You get that at Mardi Gras in New Orleans or Mobile?
No,
If that didn't get you to 1,000 subscribers, nothing will.
that's hilarious. Oh yeah.
We
There
get
we
a
go.
good feeling out of that.
Oh yeah.
So I used to do the shotgun merit badge at winter camp, and I would always the last day, because teaching anything with gun safety, you're always real. There's no goofing off, messing around. So, and it was a 3-day class. So on the third day, I would always come out wearing this, and I'd say, "We're going to be serious today."
Gonna be
Yes,
serious.
we are.
So yeah.
That is hilarious.
See there, Tim. You can do the. If I can do this, you can do the honeybee.
Tom and Melissa said that's a good look for you, Philip.
Yeah, it is.
I'm gonna tell you
Not
what.
everybody, not everybody can pull that off,
Oh,
Melissa.
you're right. Oh man.
This is the new screenshot for Philip when he calls the telephone.
Oh yeah, that's contact us.
So this thing was in we were having a yard sale. My kids wanted to raise some money, so they brought out all their stuff, and this was in the yard sale. And I was like, "Oh no, we're not selling this. This is
Yeah, where you
staying
going
here."
with that?
Well, why would you want to sell something like that?
Oh man, that's a great question. The thing that the conversation turns into on this chat, it never ceases
I gotta
to
get my
amaze
glasses
me.
on so I can read all the stuff people are saying. Yeah. No, you guys can't have it. I'm sorry. Oh gosh, that's
That's his prized possession, y'all.
uh,
Oh man, good times.
At least we did get through some kind of beekeeping
Before
conversation.
it completely derailed.
Yeah.
It tried a few times with all the small hive beetle dishes.
Well, that's what I was thinking in the beginning. I was like, well, we may not even get into the small hive beetle website with all this going on.
Mm.
Let's go with it, people.
Yeah.
I'll be there with you.
Oh, yes.
Tom and Melissa said that's a good look for you, Philip.
yeah.
So,
You're all over the place, but
yeah, I'm trying to keep up, man.
Getting hot though, I can tell you that. I'm gonna take it off. Hold on.
That'd be a good winter hat, though. Yeah, this is good.
we're losing viewers.
Oh, that. All right.
Uh-oh. There must be that wasn't because of the hat for sure.
No, they were starting to drop already. I didn't realize it was 9:15. We just finished scaring them off.
Yeah, but the ones that stayed late, they got that special treat.
That's it. You got to stay till the end.
That's right. That's right. Never know what's going to come up at the very end.
I think we ain't done that for a minute. But I want everybody hanging out to the
I do the
membership giveaway. Yeah, for the ones of you wrote it out this far, we'll we ain't done one in a while, so we'll do a membership giveaway. Cranking that Wi-Fi or hotspot. Bear with me just a minute.
Well, while you're doing that, I was gonna share something that I found. This it has been a different kind of year, but when about the middle of July, I guess we're not far past that, a week or two ago, I decided, it's time to pull all my honey supers off. So I did. They weren't really capped because they hadn't had I figured the flow had stopped. And I think it had for the most part, but a lot of times I'll extract the honey and then I'll put the supers back on the colonies for the bees to clean out. Well, I got a little lazy and said, no, I'm just going to let them clean them out on the side over here. So then I went back a couple of days later to feed the light ones, and I did. I put food on the ones that were light. And then I went back and I said, well, that was only like a half gallon, so I need to go back and feed them again. Well, I started lifting the colonies, and they were all heavy, even the ones that needed feed. So it got me to thinking maybe there was still a little bit of flow left, which I'm not complaining about for sure, because you don't want to have to feed them. But I started to worry a little bit that maybe they're going to get honey bound or pack out the brood nest. I don't know. And I did catch a little small swarm. It's been just over a week ago, right after that. So I'm really wishing I had put those honey supers back on, just if nothing else, to give them space.
Yeah.
But it was, it was a terrible year for honey. And I don't think I missed out on any honey, but I'm just wondering if I didn't put them in a little bit of a stressful situation by not putting the honey super back on them, just to give them a little room for whatever was left over. But I don't know. I don't know if anybody else has had that happen to them or not.
That's what I was waiting on some people to start chiming in.
Yeah, I've not had that issue before. I'm only my 4th year, but still.
Well, let people start sharing the hat part of the video out and let it go viral, and then we'll get some really good input.
Okay.
VIA said that hat should have gained 50 plus viewers. That'd be disastrous that he still has buckwheat out there.
Yeah, I mean, there's a few things blooming, but I know my ornamental sage bloomed again, which it blooms kind of after a long dry period and then a rain. And then I do have some lemon basil that's blooming.
Okay.
But,
we saw something trying to blend out.
It was a swamp tie.
Yeah.
River yesterday.
now I do hope there is some late blooms, because I've been I hadn't been back out to the farm in like 3 weeks, and I'd pulled a very small, like 3.5 supers off of them then, and then I've got to go back and do the same thing out there with, just pull everything and whatever I got. So hopefully, if there was a little bit of a late flow, then those supers out there have something in them.
But you got pretty well washed out all season down at the farm, didn't you?
I
Like,
did.
isn't that where it rained so much?
Yeah, I did. Luckily, at the first week in June, not the first week in June, toward the yeah, I guess it was about the first week in June. My flow is it kind of starts in April, and it hits real strong middle of April and goes through May, and it ends about middle of June. But the first week in June, I knew I was in big trouble because I didn't have anything really to speak of on those hives.
Yeah.
But I did notice that all the mesquite was blooming better than I'd ever seen it before. So I was like, well, that's my last chance. And sure enough, by the 1st of July, several of the colonies had filled up a super. And then, some of them had them like half filled.
Yeah.
And so, I pulled some of that. I didn't pull all of it. And that's the only reason I got any honey at all. was
Yeah.
that the mesquite bloomed, late when everything else had stopped. So hopefully when I go back out, there's a little bit more of that. We'll see.
Yeah. Oh,
And
there's
hope,
quite a few people that had kind of a rough season this year.
yeah, I mean, I only ended up getting about 70 pounds, but I probably had to basically throw away about 15 pounds because by the time I'd gotten around to extracting it, it was wet. I need to dry it out. And by the time
Yeah.
I got my drying situation set up, some of the bees had wax moths larvae running through them, which that
Oh,
didn't that didn't bother me too much because that was in the bottom of the frames where there was some old
um,
pollen. I
yeah.
can actually just kind of pick those out and still extract it. But then at the top, there were a few places that were starting to be slimed by hive beetles, and I was
Yeah.
like, I don't want that in my honey for sure. So I just put 3 or 4 of those frames out and let the bees rob them out,
Yeah.
clean them up. So I probably could have got another 15, but that, it still is like 85 pounds total. But hopefully I've got another, couple hundred pounds out there on the hives now. And I got to get out there pretty quick because if that snow on the prairie gets in there, it'll ruin it all. So, and my personal deadline for that is 15th of July, which I'm a week past that.
Oh boy, you're late, Phil.
Yeah. Uh, By August 1st for sure it'll be they'll be working that stuff. So
Yeah.
I'll probably be out there next weekend, which is going to be really cutting it close. We'll see.
I hope you find something good when you get out there.
I hope so too. But
And of course,
we'll see.
Sarah texted me a couple days ago that she had went out to pull hers, and a good bit of the honey she pulled was fermented.
Mm-mm.
And I was
Mm,
like, man, because she was texting me telling me I'm going to pull honey tomorrow, and I'll have my entry for the contest in the mail. And then she texted me back the next day and was like, nope, I pulled fermented honey out of my hives. I was like, man,
that
I
you know
hated to hear that.
that's a real possibility for me because the stuff that I got that was really wet was the stuff that was already capped. They do that at the farm. They cap that really wet honey. And I can tell as
Yeah.
soon as I cut the cappings, it just runs out of there like water. So,
You know when they get in it too, because your bees will try to fly out and just fall down.
yeah. So,
You're hilarious.
so, so who did I see? Somebody had a YouTube video was saying their capped honey was wet. May have been the bug farmer or something like that. But yeah, it happens for sure.
Yeah, I just hated to hear that for her.
Yeah.
She was excited.
Where
She's having a good year this year.
Hmm.
who was it?
Sarah, Sarah's
Oh,
happy
okay.
times.
Oh, really? Wow.
Yeah,
Where is Sarah?
she had to go to bed. She
No, no, I'm
left
saying
out a little while ago.
Indiana.
Oh, like where she
yeah,
lives? Yeah, Indiana.
really. I wouldn't expect that to be an
Hmm.
issue up there, but maybe she's got a lot of humidity.
I don't know.
And I know they fought rain too, especially like coming in the spring. They had sent
Yeah, yeah.
what she sent you a couple pictures early on about her yard down there, pretty
Her
much
little
being flooded.
backyard looked like a lake.
Mm.
I think
Yeah,
she was in the water boots out there checking on the beach.
I, I, I put a fan over mine and for several days, and it
Mm,
whatever was uncapped dried out really good. So, I mean, I'm not one of these people that says, "Oh, wait till it's capped and it'll be right ready to go," because it's just the opposite of that for some of that,
yeah.
especially early spring stuff.
I've seen a couple people in here. It may have been early on talking about seeing the goldenrod, or the goldenrod was already trying to make a
Yeah, that's
bloom
crazy.
run.
Yeah.
Yeah, I saw that too. I think that was Shane was saying that. Now he's up in Canada. We don't even have a chance of goldenrod until about really 1st of October here.
That's about like us too. And some of y'all, if ones of you been with it for a while, we did the video last year out in the goldenrod field, down at the widow woman's house. And once again, we was leaving out for work and she ain't but just a crow's hop from our house. But the big field she had last year, me and Hannah drove past it that morning and looked and said, boy, that goldenrod is coming up. And I thought it was probably 2.5, 3 feet tall out there in that field. And it's about a 3 acre field, what she got on that end. And we talked about it for a minute and we went through the whole spiel of maybe we'll get some honey this year, blah, blah, blah. Brother, I ain't lying. On our way home, we passed the widow woman's house before we get tired. Just so happened, I looked over there at the field and I said, you remember this morning saying, I hope nobody cuts that field?
Oh,
And Hannah was like,
no.
yeah. I said, look over there at Miss Sarah's. And buddy, they had come through there and scalped it. It looked good, but they cut every bit of that goldenrod out of there. And we was like, well, there goes that.
That's terrible.
But I mean, it's everywhere as it is, but it is pretty in the fields whenever folks are just, let it go. And whenever it goes to blooming, all you see is that pretty yellow out down through there. But I mean, it ain't like it put us in a bind by no means because it's everywhere around here. But that was just our little, I guess y'all know how it is. You're going down the road, you have that one spot you look at all the time.
Yeah, well, there's not that much goldenrod out at my farm. I see a little bit of it, but seems like I have a ton of ragweed, and boy, that stuff will put the pollen on. But I don't think it does anything with nectar. But yeah, it'll bloom. You know, you bump it, that pollen goes everywhere. That's what gives people really bad allergies.
Yeah. Say Illuminate says we get a nice fall flow here with about 5 different types of goldenrod and aster.
Yeah, I can't figure it out because my bees here in Capel gave me like 450 pounds of honey in the fall, and the ones down at the country didn't give me anything. It was just night and day. I literally had run out of supers here and said, well, they're not going to collect anything there. I made a trip in the middle of the week to go get supers and put them on my colonies here in Capel, and it barely paid off because there was only like a week left of the flow, and I think I got an extra 100 pounds, which was enough to pay for my gas for sure, and then some. So it worked out. But this year I'm going to try to be a little bit more proactive, and if we're having a good flow here and they're not having one down there, I want to get it 2 or 3 weeks of that fall flow.
Oh, just like for 1 year. Well, I mean, year after year will be nice, but we've yet to have that fall goldenrod flow. I mean, there's enough usually the bees to pull in, and it'll pretty well, yeah, it'll get them through our winter months, if you will. But we haven't had that. Okay, let's go out here and we can extract and actually get some honey and keep them with some stores on the goldenrod.
Well, I'm not sure that it's goldenrod that's here, but because people say goldenrod crystallizes real fast and this honey doesn't. But and it might be there seems to be a little bit of a Japanese knotweed around. I don't see the goldenrod anywhere around here. You see a few little bit mixed in on the ditch banks, but not big areas of it for sure. So I'm probably not even getting goldenrod. I don't know what I'm getting. I need to figure that out. But it's definitely something that they fill up a couple of supers, on whatever it is. Which And they've done it the last 2 years, so I don't know.
And that's much better than having to feed or continuously feed.
I end up having to feed anyway because I've switched to single brood chamber. So once I pull that, I'll have to feed. But here it's not that big a deal. Like I'll pull everything like 1st of November, and we still have a good month and a half before we have to worry about cold temperatures here.
Mm.
You might get a little cold temperatures, but I can feed through middle of December pretty easy. I bet you guys can too.
Oh yeah, 'cause, I mean, about the only time we really go to getting any kind of freezes to knock stuff out. It's usually it's about January before
Yeah,
we get
we're
into the cold.
we might have a few cool nights, but we're the same. We don't get into freezes until it's January, February. But I can find times within a 5-day period to feed. It's going to get to be 55, 60 degrees even in the middle of January here. We might go 2 or 3 weeks, probably 2 weeks at the most to where it's below 50. But,
If nothing else, give it a couple of days and it'll be up in the mid 50s or 60s.
yeah. Yeah, I don't get too worked up about my colonies getting up to weight. I want them to have some weight, but I don't get. It's not like a drop dead date here. I'm more concerned about coming into spring that they have some weight.
Yeah.
Because they can starve out of the last half of February, 1st of March.
Yes, especially when you start seeing that growth coming on, and you're like, well, yeah, I may have to pour it to y'all for a couple of weeks until things get to rolling pretty good.
Exactly.
But yeah, I think we're gonna wrap her up for the evening.
All right.
Appreciate you dropping by, Philip. Enjoyed I like the hat. Got to say that.
The hat made everybody forget about the observation hive.
Yeah.
It's like a mind eraser.
Forget about everything else.
I apologize to anybody who just sits up in the bed in the middle of the night with that vision.
With it. Oh, good.
Oh man, funny stuff.
Thinking of it right there in her face. But,
Yeah. All right. Good night, everybody.
Good week. Everybody's saying good night now.
Yeah. Thank y'all, everybody, for riding out this long. We do appreciate you. Our
all the new subs,
our members, our family.
Coming in just in time to say good night.
That's it. Yeah. I appreciate
Dirt Rooster Randy.
Well, I just seen that. Wait a minute. On one of our chat, no, he commented on one of the videos the other day, and I seen that where Randy become a member. Thank you, brother. We appreciate you on that end very much. But yeah, we're gonna wrap her up, y'all. We appreciate you watching. God bless you. Lord willing, we'll see y'all on the next one.
Yeah. Hope y'all have
take care.
Week.
Ian. It don't want to go.